UFC fans always highlight the noble actions of the fighters from the premier promotion. Undoubtedly, this earns respect because a fight is just a fight, but it's important to remember that we must always stay human. However, not everyone manages to maintain their dignity in the ring. As it's hard to control emotions and thoughts in the heat of battle, sometimes athletes cross the line to the point where they lose even the slightest sense of respect. In this video, we'll discuss such instances. Roman Bogatov, Leonardo Santos. This fight can easily be considered one of the most unusual of the year 2020. Russian athlete Roman Bogatov made his UFC debut in a fight against Brazilian Leonardo Santos, and his performance raised many questions from both viewers and experts. From the very beginning of the match, Bogatov displayed an aggressive style while constantly breaking the rules. In one episode, he poked the Brazilian in the eye, which is one of the most serious fouls in mixed martial arts. Additionally, he struck his opponent in the groin twice, prompting immediate intervention from the referee. The most controversial moment occurred when Bogatov kneed his seated opponent, which is a severe violation of the rules. For these infractions, the referee deducted 2 points from Bogatov, which ultimately influenced the final score. Despite all the circumstances surrounding the fight, the match went to a decision, with the judges delivering a unanimous verdict. Santos won. This outcome was justified considering the number of violations committed by Bogatov. After the fight, Roman's UFC career took a turn for the worse. He was soon released from the organization due to repeated rule violations and the use of illegal strikes. This event served as a real lesson for many fighters, as respect for opponents and adherence to the rules are fundamental principles in the world of mixed martial arts. Israel Adesanya, Paulo Costa. During his second title defense, Adesanya achieved an impressive victory over Costa by technical knockout at UFC 253 on September 27th, 2020. This fight was a pivotal moment in Izzy's career as he not only confirmed his championship ambitions, but also showcased his high-level fighting skills. Israel, known for his unique style and artistry, truly delivered a performance that would be remembered for a lifetime. In the first round, he confidently controlled the distance, using his boxing and kickboxing skills to avoid Costa's attacks and land precise strikes. In the second round, Adesanya demonstrated complete dominance, finishing the fight with a spectacular knockout as Costa fell to the ground, exposing his back. This gave Israel the opportunity to perform his iconic gesture, symbolizing his total dominance in the fight. While some fans may have considered such behavior inappropriate, Izzy has always been known for his bold and provocative style. His dances and celebrations in the octagon have become part of the persona that attracts viewers. However, in this particular case, many noted that Adesanya crossed the line, and his actions could be seen as disrespectful to his opponent. Wes Sims, Frank Mir. The fight took place 22 years ago when former UFC heavyweight champion Frank Mir defeated Wes Sims by technical knockout in June of 2003. This event marked an important moment in the careers of both fighters and served as the beginning of their rivalry, which became memorable for many MMA fans. The tone of the fight was set right from the start, when Mir attempted to touch gloves with Sims as a gesture of sportsmanship, but Sims quickly bypassed the extended hand, showing an aggressive attitude. In the first round, after Sims hit Mir to prevent a takedown, he stood up and, grabbing the cage, began stomping on Mir's face. The fight was stopped, and Sims, initially excited, began desperately pounding his fists on the cage as he didn't understand what had happened, while Mir was still lying on the mat in a daze. This confrontation sparked the rivalry between the two fighters. They met again at UFC 46. This time, Mir, with more experience and superior technique, easily controlled the fight and knocked Sims out in the second round. In his next bout, Mir won the UFC Heavyweight Championship. His victories over several top-tier opponents made him one of the most respected fighters in the organization's history. Meanwhile, Sims faced difficulties after his loss at UFC 47, where he accused his opponent, Mike Kyle, of biting him during the fight. It seems that karma caught up with Sims in a place he didn't expect. This experience served as a lesson for him, teaching him that in the world of MMA, respect for opponents is crucial. Igor Severino, Andre Lima. Severino was disqualified for biting his opponent and leaving teeth marks on his bicep. The incident became one of the most shocking disqualifications in mixed martial arts history, sparking a wide reaction among fans and experts. The situation was reminiscent of the famous fight between Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield in 1997, when Tyson bit his opponent's ear. In the UFC Vegas 89 bout between Severino and Lima, the tension reached its peak, and at the moment when the fighters clinched, Lima began yelling and signaling to the referee that he had been attacked. After the referee intervened and separated the fighters, Lima raised his arm, showing the bite mark on his left bicep, which became clear evidence of the violation. Given the severity of the incident, the judges awarded Lima the victory. This decision was met with understanding. The unexpected bite cost Severino not only the victory in the fight, but also his spot in the UFC. The organization's president, Dana White, known for his decisiveness in enforcing the rules, decided to release the 20-year-old fighter after his debut, which also sent a strong message that such actions are unacceptable in professional sports. Josh Koscheck, Paul Daly. This fight took place in 2010 as part of UFC 113 and became an important milestone in both athletes' careers. At stake was not only the desire to climb the career ladder, but also the opportunity to face the legendary Georges St. Pierre in a title fight, as St. Pierre was the welterweight champion at the time. Throughout almost all 3 rounds, the fight appeared to be dominated by Koscheck, who confidently controlled his opponent on the ground. His wrestling skills and ability to manage the fight allowed him to take the initiative, demonstrating a high level of preparation. However, when the final bell rang, the aggressive Daly, who hadn't been able to showcase his best performance that evening, approached his opponent and landed a punch. This moment was shocking to both the viewers and the participants, as such behavior not only violates sportsmanship, but could also lead to serious consequences. The experienced referee Dan Miragliotta stepped in just in time, physically pushing Daly away, almost applying a chokehold to calm the hot-headed fighter down. This fight marked Daly's last appearance in the UFC, although he continued his career with the Bellator organization, where he managed to secure a few impressive victories. He never reached the top. On the other hand, Koscheck earned a title shot against St. Pierre but was unable to capture the championship belt. Georges secured a dominant victory in that fight. Afterward, Koscheck continued his career and won a few more bouts but ultimately retired on a losing streak. Michael Bisping, Jorge Rivera. This fight evolved from a purely sporting match into a personal showdown. The bout in the 185-pound category was filled with intense emotions, largely due to the videos Rivera posted on YouTube, where he mocked his English opponent in every possible way. During the weigh-in, Bisping acted aggressively, promising to send Rivera back to the prelims. It was clear to see that Bisping wasn't stepping into the ring just for a fight, but rather for a full-blown street brawl to settle personal issues. The fight started with an exchange of strikes followed by Bisping's takedowns, against which Rivera had no answers. Bisping began fighting dirty, landing an illegal and dangerous blow. Rivera was on his knees in the ring, and at that moment, ignoring the rules designed to protect the fighter's health, Bisping delivered a powerful knee to Rivera's head. This action is strictly prohibited, but Bisping seemed unconcerned by the violation. Emotions and adrenaline took over at that point. It seemed that the fight would be stopped by the doctor's request. However, at the last moment, Rivera told the referee, Mark Goddard, that he could continue. In the second round, after a prolonged attack, Bisping knocked Rivera out. Immediately after the fight was stopped, Bisping walked toward Rivera's team and, as he got closer, spat at Jorge's coaches who had appeared with him in the YouTube videos. Then, he approached Rivera and demanded an apology despite Rivera's actions before the fight. Bisping's behavior in the moment with the illegal strike and afterward was far from graceful. Mirko Cro Cop Cheick Kongo. Let's talk about the MMA legend Mirko Filipovic. The athlete joined the UFC rather late, at the age of 33, but he still began his journey in the premier promotion with an impressive victory over Eddie Sanchez by technical knockout in the first round. That victory solidified the Croatian status, as Mirko was already well known internationally due to his performances in Pride, where he earned a reputation as one of the most dangerous heavyweights. However, in his next fight, he sensationally lost to the Brazilian Gonzaga in the same round. That fight became a real test for the Croatian athlete, and perhaps it broke him mentally. At the time, fighters didn't take long breaks between bouts, and just 5 months after his loss, Cro Cop stepped into the cage again. Mirko's next fight took place in September 2007 at UFC 75, where the Croatian faced French kickboxer Cheick Kongo. Despite the fact that Cro Cop won by unanimous decision, the fight was memorable for the brutal and dirty strikes from Kongo. Special attention was drawn to the knee strikes Kongo delivered to his opponent's groin. 3 such blows were delivered, with the last one looking particularly frightening. Surprisingly, these violations were not enough for the judges to deduct points from Kongo. In a post-fight interview, Cro Cop explained that he had cracked a rib, which further worsened his condition. The fighter noted that the illegal blows to the groin played a significant role in determining the outcome of the match. Rosimar Palhares, Michael Pierce. Palhares is a fighter known for his dangerous and unpredictable actions inside the octagon, which drew the attention of both fans and critics. His fighting style was often characterized by aggression and a lack of respect for his opponents, which repeatedly led to highly controversial situations. One of the most memorable incidents was his fight with Michael Pearce in 2013. In this bout, Palhares applied a submission, but did not release his hold even after Pearce tapped out, signaling his surrender. The referee, seeing that Palhares was not responding to the stoppage, had no choice but to intervene and literally pull him off Pearce. The incident sparked a heated debate among MMA experts and fans, as many felt that this behavior was not only unsportsmanlike, but also posed a real threat to the fighter's health. As a result of the scandal, Palhares was released from the UFC, sending a strong message that the organization takes serious action against fighters who disregard safety rules and sportsmanship. His behavior often sparked outrage among spectators who believed that the fighter endangered his opponent's safety and violated the fundamental principles of fair competition. Eric Silva, Nordine Taleb. At UFC 196, which took place on March 5, 2016, fighters in the welterweight division faced off. The fight attracted attention not only for its athletic aspects, but also for unexpected moments related to the fighter's behavior. As per tradition, at the beginning of the fight and during it, most fighters greet each other with a glove touch as a sign of respect. However, in this confrontation, Silva took advantage of the moment to land an unexpected strike, which caused an uproar among the audience and commentators. This action was perceived as a display of disrespect. Nevertheless, in the second round, justice was served. Nordine Taleb, showing patience and tactical thinking, successfully caught Silva with a counterattack. He used his skills and reflexes to take advantage of the mistake made by his opponent, landing a beautiful knockout. This moment became the climax of the fight, demonstrating how important it is to stay focused and respect your opponent, regardless of the circumstances. After his victory, Taleb mentioned that he wasn't seeking revenge for the cheap shot, but simply took the opportunity to catch his opponent off guard. Igor Poterya, Maurizio Rua at the UFC event in Rio de Janeiro, 26-year-old Ukrainian light heavyweight. Igor Poterya defeated 41-year-old Brazilian Maurizio Rua, known as Shogun, who is one of the brightest legends of the promotion. Rua, with his wealth of experience and numerous titles including the UFC Championship, was known for his aggressive style and powerful strikes. But in this fight, he was battling not so much his opponent as Father Time. For Maurizio, this fight marked the end of his professional career, after which he announced his retirement from the sport, leaving behind a rich legacy and many memorable moments. The Brazilian fighter was one of the pioneers of mixed martial arts. His career boasts numerous exciting fights and title bouts, making him an idol for many fans and followers. As for Poterya, this was his first victory in the UFC. The Ukrainian fighter decided to celebrate his success in the ring with a dance, which turned into quite a spectacle. At the end of his performance, he pulled an imaginary gun from a holster, aimed it at his opponent, and then pretended to shoot it into the air. This gesture sparked a strong reaction from the audience and fighters. It was seen as inappropriate and provocative. Such behavior did not go unnoticed, and debates erupted on social media about whether such expressions of emotion are acceptable in professional sports. Dear viewers, what similar cases can you recall in the UFC? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you in advance. This was Octagon with another Top List. See you soon.